Billionaire dad secretly watches waitress feed his disabled son. What he did next changed her life. It was the kind of rainy Tuesday that turned city sidewalks into mirrors, reflecting the rush of life in shimmering streaks of red brake lights and hurried umbrellas. Inside a quiet corner diner just off Fifth Avenue, the world moved slower. The smell of coffee clung to the air like a promise, and the hum of the overhead fan filled the silences between murmured conversations. At table 6, near the window, sat a little boy with wide brown eyes and legs that wouldn't move. He was maybe 6, with soft curls that peeked from beneath a knit cap and a smile that made strangers pause. Across from him sat no one, yet. Behind the counter, wiping her hands on her apron, was Lily. 24, tired, but always smiling. Life had thrown a few too many curveballs her way. Her mother's medical bills, her father's sudden passing, the rent that always came early, but she'd learned to catch them all with grace. She didn't have much, but what she had, she gave. She spotted the little boy and approached with her usual warmth. "Hey there, buddy," she said, crouching to his level. "Where's your grown-up?" The boy gestured toward the door. "He's parking the car. He said I could sit here while he gets the umbrella." "Well, that's mighty brave of you," she said, handing him a kid's menu with dinosaurs on it. "I'm Lily." "What's your name?" "Eli," he said, his voice soft. "I like pancakes." Lily laughed. "Then you're in luck. Our pancakes are almost as awesome as your hat." She stood and scribbled his order without asking. Pancakes, extra syrup, side of strawberries. It was more than a kid's menu allowed, but she'd cover the difference. She always did for children. What she didn't know, what no one in the diner knew, was that someone was already watching. A man in a tailored black coat, leaning against the glass just outside, one hand on the umbrella he claimed to fetch, the other clutching something more fragile, fear. His name was Daniel Cross. Tech billionaire, Fortune 50 name, the face behind one of the world's most influential companies. But right now, none of that mattered. Today, he was just Eli's dad. A father who had no idea how to raise a disabled son alone after losing his wife to cancer a year ago. The boardrooms, the awards, the net worth, they all meant nothing when his boy couldn't button his own shirt without help. Daniel had brought Eli here for a special breakfast. They were supposed to celebrate Eli's progress in physical therapy. But then Eli had asked him to wait outside while he sat, like a big boy. And now, through the foggy glass, Daniel watched as a waitress with tired eyes and a heart that radiated kindness knelt beside his son and made him laugh. He didn't enter right away. He watched. Over the next 30 minutes, Lily treated Eli like royalty. She cut his pancakes into perfect bites. She wiped the syrup from his fingers. She told him jokes. And when he struggled to lift his juice cup with both hands trembling, she quietly slipped a straw in and said, "Just a little magic touch, huh?" Eli giggled. "You're nice." "Well, someone's gotta be, right?" she said, tousling his curls. Daniel finally walked in, his presence quiet but commanding. He wore wealth like a second skin, yet there was a gentleness in the way he approached their table. "Hey, champ," he said, kissing the top of Eli's head. "I see you've made a new friend." "She's the best," Eli said proudly, as though he'd discovered her. Lily stood, her expression neutral but polite. "Good morning, sir. Your son's amazing." Daniel looked at her more closely now. Her apron was worn. Her shoes were frayed. Yet everything about her glowed. "Thank you," he said softly. "May I speak with you a moment?" They stepped aside near the counter. "Listen, I don't mean to overstep," Daniel began, "but I saw how you treated my son. Not just served him, you saw him. That's rare." Lily shrugged. "He's just a kid. A special one, sure. But every kid deserves kindness." He studied her. "You always go out of your way like that." She smiled. Honestly, I don't know how not to. Daniel left $100 tip and a business card with a handwritten note on the back. Thank you, for what you gave without expecting anything in return. Then he and Eli disappeared into the misty morning. Lily tucked the card in her pocket and didn't think much of it. Rich people often gave out cards. They never called back. 3 weeks passed. Then, on a gray Friday, she was late to work. Her bus broke down, and she ran the last 2 blocks to the diner, apron in hand. But when she got there, the doors were locked. A sign on the window read, "Closed today for a private event." Confused, Lily peered inside. Balloons. Ribbons. Wait, were those reporters? Suddenly, the door opened. There stood Daniel Cross. In jeans, no suit, no security. Just a father with a dream in his eyes. "Lily," he said warmly. "Come in." What's going on?" He stepped aside. The entire diner had been transformed into a miniature gala. In the corner was Eli, waving frantically. Beside him sat a woman in a wheelchair and a young boy with a prosthetic leg. And behind them, cameras. "I hope you'll forgive the surprise," Daniel said. "I tried to call, but your number didn't work." "I don't have a phone right now," Lily admitted, flushed. "Couldn't afford the bill." Daniel nodded as if he'd expected that. "I asked around. Your manager said today was your day off. I asked to borrow the place." She stepped inside slowly. "But, why?" Daniel turned to face her, his voice full of purpose. "Because of what you did for Eli. You didn't just feed him, you made him feel seen, capable, normal. That's something I couldn't buy with all the money in the world." Lily's throat tightened. "I wanted to thank you properly," he continued. "But not just with money. You see, I've started a new foundation, the Eli Project. It's dedicated to supporting workers who make a difference in the lives of children with disabilities. The first grant is yours." He handed her a folder. Inside, a check for $250,000, a scholarship for nursing school, and a contract to join the board of his new nonprofit as a community liaison. Lily covered her mouth with both hands, trembling. This can't be real." "It is," Daniel said, his voice breaking. "Because you reminded me that sometimes the most powerful change doesn't come from billion-dollar ideas, it comes from a warm heart and a plate of pancakes." She sobbed, hugging him as Eli clapped from the corner. The cameras caught it all. But the real story wasn't in the headlines the next day. It wasn't in the viral video or the trending hashtag. It was in what came after. Lily went to nursing school. Graduated with honors. Opened a community center for children with special needs, fully funded by the foundation. Daniel became a regular there with Eli, who called Lily Aunt Lily now. And every year, on the anniversary of that rainy Tuesday, they all returned to the diner, table 6 reserved, for pancakes, extra syrup and stories of how one small act of kindness changed everything. You never know who's watching, and you never know how one small act of kindness can ripple into a life-changing miracle. In a world where success is often measured by wealth, sometimes the richest hearts belong to those who give without counting the cost. Let me know if you'd like a narrated version or this formatted for print or voiceover.